Today, let's talk about the Backbone Gen 2 for your iPhone or your Android phone, which comes with a USB-C for both iPhone and Android. As you can see there on the bottom for Apple Arcade, Game Pass, Google Play, all of these options down here at the bottom. There are a lot of games in the App Store that actually will work with a controller, not just a Backbone, but a number of controllers on the market, including PS5 and Xbox One controllers. You can try with some of these third-party, not really known name brand controllers and get some games to work, if any, at your own discretion, because sometimes stuff just doesn't work. So anyway, we're gonna go with the tried, true, and trusted platform of the Backbone One, which does in fact get a lot of support with compatibility with games in the App Store and all those platforms I just mentioned. And there is quite a large library. If you go to their site, Backbone One site, you will see there are a plethora of games that are compatible with this, so you will never get bored. So we're going to look at the differences between the Gen 1 version of the Backbone and the Gen 2, do a little comparison, and just talk a little bit about why mobile gaming advent right now is very possible and tangible, from old school emulation all the way up to modern AAA titles. That's right, whether you're playing some of them natively, that at least the ones that are supported, or if you're streaming it from your PC, PS5, or even from the cloud. A lot of options here, and I'm going to show you what it looks like, the performance, all that fun stuff, and some of the games that I'm actually playing and trying to get into. I'm probably addicted to, guilty, is charged. First and foremost, let's look at my dusty Backbone One, and it is rightfully dusty. So God, look at that dust on there. God, look at this dust. I have not been using it since I've upgraded my iPhone to the 15 Pro Max, and well, this basically became rendered unusable for those phones. But I was on the verge of upgrading from a iPhone 13, so it kind of fell in hand. I totally forgot that it wouldn't work with this, and now I have this paperweight. But I don't know, for people who just refuse to upgrade to the latest and greatest iPhones or devices for that matter, well, this still will work with one of my iPads, because my iPad is still a lightning cable. They look very similar at first glance, but if you look closely, you'll see that there are some differences, and we're gonna make a switch to my other camera so we can see what those little differences are. These are the two controllers, and as you can see, one obviously is lightning, this is Gen 1, and we have Gen 2 up here. So at first glance, what is going to obviously stand out is that what really is the difference is the way the case is built right here for mounting your iPhone. This did not work with cases on your phone, so you basically had to wear your phone bareback on the Backbone. But well, it's a lot of bones and backs. What am I talking about here? So even with the thinnest of cases, the iPhone did not fit. I squeezed it in kind of somewhat with the case, but it was kind of bending, so at your own risk, you can probably break it. So I have some MagSafe case here, and if I open it up, you'll see that it kind of even really doesn't fit with this thick case that I got going on here. This one, however, came as is, and it's a much bigger gap there than what the old Gen 1 version was, and you'll see that the case slides in quite comfortably, like so. And there's even a little bit more space there to probably fit a little bit thicker case here, right? Don't go too thick. Don't get those auto rubber tire cases and expect this to fit on there, because you might find that you have trouble with that. Already improvements from the Gen 1, which even with this additional bracket still did not fit my case. iPhone 15 Pro Max, no case, right? And it will fit. It's going to fit a little baggy because the brackets are quite large. And you'll see that there's just like tons of space there, and the phone may even wobble a little bit, but you can definitely rock it like this without a case. There's also the option with this Gen 2 to take off these little mounting brackets you see on the sides there. So these actually come off, right? So it's a little bit tricky to get it off. At first, I had a very hard time getting it off because it is a magnetic connection there with that rubber piece. So you kind of got to dig your finger in there and slide it off, which is not the easiest thing to do because the magnet is quite nice. But once you get it off, you'll see that it is very large gap. My God, this will fit a thick case. Now, once you get it off, there's tons of space here to fit a phone with a thick case. It gives you that nice leeway and your camera won't hit the back of this backbone, which is nice. So even with this thick size case, I can fit it with or without the brackets. So technically I don't need these brackets on, but you can add them if you like. There are two other brackets here, and this is for your phone to fit with this Gen 2 backbone without a case. It makes it nice and snug and super tight. That's right. So it's kind of like small, medium with these other brackets that I just took off, and then super large just going plain with the controller. And the cool thing about putting on these brackets is that it is magnetic, and just putting it in place will snap it in, and that's it. And it is pretty difficult to get out. So don't worry about this falling off or your phone falling out because the magnet is loose, because this is not loose. So nothing to worry about there. Good engineering there as well. As far as buttons are concerned, you won't find that there's really any major difference with the way these buttons feel. The bumpers, the triggers, the A, X, Y, B buttons, they're all pretty much the same. What they did do though, and this is something my wife complained about because I used to use it in bed, and it had this very loud clicky sound on the Gen 1 version, right? So I'm gonna take off my noise suppression so you can hear the clickiness of it. All right, turned off noise suppression so you can hear what this guy, the Gen 1, sounds like. And that right there was annoying because if you're playing a shooting game or fighting game, it can be very noisy and annoying. Now, the Gen 2 is a little bit more subdued, though it's still a little clicky. Right, so let's do them back to back. Gen 2. Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 1. It's almost like the Gen 1 has like a higher pitched click to it. I don't know, it's weird. And the Gen 1 is a more dull click. As far as the sticks are concerned, those are pretty loud, pushing it in on the Gen 1. This is the Gen 2 right here, clicking it in. It's about the same amount of noise. The stick rotation here is pretty nice and loose and very snappy on the Gen 2. Gen 1 is, I can't really feel any difference between the two. D-pad has always been muffled, a little spongy. And the D-pad on the Gen 2, same difference, right? Same sponginess. So for all intents and purposes, the buttons on these are really just not, oh wow. Well, first of all, these buttons here, the little screen capture and menu buttons, right? They have the same kind of loud clickiness as the ABXY buttons. On the Gen 2, they are much more quieter, better rubber gaskets, I guess. Hear that? Much lower. Right, so this is Gen 1, Gen 2. 1, 2. So yes, they've, I guess, improved the clickiness more so on these menu buttons than they did on these. Just a little bit on these, but a lot more on these, right? Also, if you see that on the Backbone Gen 2, it's very flat and flush right here. There is no bumps whatsoever for your phone to slide onto. On the Gen 1, you'll see that there is this lift, a very slight rubbery lift right there on both sides. So This lifts your phone up and is again made for your phone without a case, creating even less space for your iPhone. That's right. So, and they don't remove the way these guys remove. So, those are fixed and in place, glued for life. Okay, so that's another difference. Bigger lip here on the front. See how that overlaps so much, right? Just with the case alone. This one has a very small flat lip there. I think for all intents and purposes, those are the major differences between these two devices. All right, so once you connect your backbone like so, you'll see that it'll light up to let you know you are connected to the device. Pressing this button right here will take you to the Backbone app. Now, a lot to be talked about with the Backbone app and the subscription service it provides. I did a full review on that. You can check, again, links in the description about the full review about the Backbone and the specific things about the subscription itself. I had it for a while, and well, for me, I felt like I didn't need it. I just wanted the controller. I couldn't delve into the whole, ecosystem of what the Backbone app offers. So don't need it, right? We'll dismiss that for now. Click B for not now. And you'll get to your Backbone home screen. Techies and gamers, how awesome does this thing look? The Backbone offers, amongst many things, a console-like experience, right? So when you have your games installed and you've played them, you'll see that they'll populate on your Backbone app. Right, so then you can just quick launch them from the Backbone in the menu, and of course they have some App Store offers, which are great. I think I probably will get a couple of these actually. And you have some what's new with Backbone and in the gaming industry, right? And what's compatible. If it's here, it should be compatible with your Backbone. I do have the Delta emulator as well, which I've been playing Nintendo games on my iPhone. That's right. I did a whole video on emulation, links in the description. Check my channel out. Warframe, I've been playing as well, which is native to iPhone. That's right, you can play that natively in the App Store. So lots of things. Apple Arcade, obviously, and it'll give you a list and breakdown of what's available in Apple Arcade. And you can see that there are what to play. You can choose it by category if you want to play from Steam Link, GeForce Now, App Store, that sort of thing. Xbox Cloud Gaming. Lots of games here that are compatible with Xbox Cloud Gaming. And you already know the deal. This is very nice, very, I guess, Google style menu, also console style. So, and then you have stuff coming from communities. That's right. So you'll see some recordings because you can record from the Backbone and upload to the community. And from that community, you can share, and I guess they can make comments and have a little community going with community chat stuff. I don't have that set here on my Backbone, so if I go over to the menus, you'll see that there are a lot of things you can do. There's an account, of course, your connections, unlock Backbone Plus, which I am not a member of. Controller settings, you can set up your controllers, map your buttons, that's right. Preferences, switch your button configuration. Captures, you can subscribe. You can only do captures from the Backbone app if you are a subscriber. Or you can just capture from the iPhone recording itself as you're playing, or through a capture card connected to a computer. All right, so lots of settings here you can tinker around with. So we're not going to get into that. Did a full review, check that out. All right, so what games am I playing on here? Well, there's a lot. You can even have Death Stranding, which I have downloaded, but I have not played yet, so interested in playing that title. I've also ventured into playing some Pascal's Wager, which is a Souls-like game for iPhone platform. Pretty difficult as well, so maybe not as difficult, but it's got its fair share of difficulties. I'm still in the middle of that. But let's take a look at some Warframe here. And the cool thing with iOS 18, you have a game mode now that can help boost your gaming performance. Now, the cool and awesome thing about these games on your iPhone is that you can go into settings and play at 30 frames per second if you want to prevent overheating, or you can play at 60 frames per second. Some games support 120, Genshin Impact, for example, and it plays buttery smooth. Right now, I'm recording at 30 frames per second, but my lord, I'm going to give you a little demo of the 60 frames per second that you will see on this. It's very nice. for the most part, you can use your controller for all things related to most of these games. Some games require that you have to touch the screen to interact with menus, especially games from the App Store, which have so many different things going on. A lot of them also give you the options or provide a cursor on screen so you can move with your little analog stick here, right? And then you can move the cursor around and you can access things like that, see? So pretty cool. If things are completely touchscreen, you can move your cursor around, which is very slow to get from one end to the other. I've actually been entertaining a game like Snowbreak, for example, which seems to be pretty cool.
Always more work. That's what they pay us for. They have reinforcements. Yield! Fully loaded.
I see it all. It's no use. Leave it to me. Enough with the jokes. I'll crush you to bits. I'll cut you in an instant. It's over.
And then we have emulation through the Delta app. That's right, we can emulate Nintendo games, DS, GBA, GBC, N64, Super Nintendo Entertainment, you name it. There's quite a few options here. They don't have GameCube or anything like that just yet, but that will be coming soon, so pay attention. And we can get into some Contra Advanced, which is Super Contra. I like the Heat Seekers because I don't have to turn around to kill enemies behind my back. You know, I wish I had that in real life for people talking crap behind your back. What? Like Rambo. And then you have PlayStation Portable. That's right, SSPP for iOS. Set it off. That's how you take down the ship. All right, techies and gamers, there you have it. The Backbone 1 Gen 2 versus the Gen 1. Obviously, looking into the future and future of mobile gaming for right now, you're gonna have to go with the Gen 2 because, well, everything is moving into USB-C. If it hasn't, all the iPads, all the mobile devices, so that's the standard. And the controller market is, well, they have to follow that standard if they want to sell anything and make money, right? And right now, the Backbone 1 tends to be my go-to, very compact and sleek. I can take it with me wherever I go. You can have little third-party cases. Backbone 1, you can purchase third-party cases to support it because it's one of the more popular controllers, and you can keep it nice and protected in your bag wherever you're chucking it around with you. I'm not an affiliate for Backbone. I just like the product. I've been using it for some time. As you can see, I have a lot of things set up and installed on here, including some emulators, some games, and you know what it takes to actually import games for emulators onto your phone. That's a whole other topic for discussion, and some stuff not for discussion, like the legal matters of ROMs, right? And as usual, if you find this video entertaining, give you a little bit of value, a little bit of know-how, and maybe I convince you that the Backbone 1 is the way to go for your mobile gaming, then sure, give a like, subscribe. If you're looking for continued content like this on your feed, then I will be providing lots of that. Gaming, console content, computer tech, content creation tech like microphones and the such. So yeah, there you have it. I'm gonna go back, drink a cup of coffee, and I'm gonna be jacked up for my next 16 videos I'm gonna create today. What? Who does that?